Hi, this is Grandma Missall. I was born in Lodi, Wisconsin in 1936, January 31st. And guess what? I wasn't the only one born at that time. 15 minutes later comes another little girl, and her name is Eileen. She's my twin sister. I also have 4 other sisters and 2 brothers, and we grew up on a big farm in Lodi, Wisconsin, about 300 acres. And boy, was that a lot of work. In the wintertime, it got real cold. And in the summertime, we had to feed the chickens and the cows and the pigs, pick up eggs, wash 'em, weigh 'em, and pack 'em. And with 8 of us children, we had 3 big gardens. And we grew lots of potatoes and strawberries and beans and peas and corn and radishes and horseradish and, you name it. And we had grapes and plums and pears and apples and, oh my goodness, we had so much work to do, but it was lots of fun. I went to school in Sauk City, Wisconsin, St. Aloysius Catholic School, from grades 1 to 7. And then in 8th grade, I went to Prairie du Sac, Wisconsin, from 8th grade through 12th grade. And I had so much fun with my sisters and brothers. But after we got out of high school, there was no jobs in the country, so I had to move to Madison, Wisconsin with my sister and my friends. And my first job was at Bell South, and I was a long-distance telephone operator. But you know what? I didn't like it. So then I went to New York Life Insurance Company, and I got a nice job in the office. I really liked it. Things were so safe there. I could take a briefcase with all the money every day and walk to the bank, and nobody hurt me. But then my twin sister was making more money than I was at a big pizza place called Lombardino's. So I quit my job and went to work there with her. And we had so much fun waiting on tables and working with people. Then when I was 21 years old, we moved to Florida because we just didn't like the winters in Wisconsin. And we got the sand in our shoes and decided to stay. And we had so much fun. We didn't have any snow. We had warm weather. We could swim all the time. And we got a job at, I forget. Oh, it was called Maisel's. And it was a great big restaurant. And all the kids and mom and dad came to see us. And even my sister went to work there. And then my mom and dad decided to buy a home in Florida. But then my daddy passed on. So we stayed in Florida, and I met Stephen's father, George Missall. And in 1963, we got married. And guess what? We had 3 darling girls and 3 handsome boys, and we had so much fun. And we traveled because Grandpa Missall got on with the airlines. So we got to go all over. We got to go to California and Alaska and all the different states around Wisconsin. And the kids had such good times as they were growing up, your daddy. And then, let's see, in 2004, my husband, your daddy's father, went to heaven. So I sold my home in Georgia and I moved to Century Village because my twin sister and her husband lived there. And I really like it. And you know what I like most? Whenever I can travel on the airplane, like coming to see you at your home, I get to go to Kentucky, I get to go to Ocala, I get to go to Georgia, and I just have a great time. And I thank God that I'm feeling so good and have such a wonderful family. And you know what? I love all of you very, very much. Now, you know what? When we were little, we went to school, Catholic school, and we had nuns for our teacher. I don't know if you know what nuns are. They wore the long habits, but anyway, they were real strict. But before we went to school in the morning, we always went to church, and then we'd have school during the daytime. And one time, I liked to play the organ, so I got a bunch of kids from outside at school, and we went into the chapel, and I played the organ. And we were supposed to be playing outside. So when one of the nuns, Sister Thomasina, caught me, and that was in 4th grade, she said, "Okay, which one of you boys have a belt?" And I liked a boy by the name of Jerry Bunders. And she said, "Can I have your belt?" And he said, "Yes." And she put me across her knee and gave me a real hard spanking with that belt. And after that, I didn't like Jerry Bunders anymore. Another thing I liked in school, I was always very active in theater and music, a lot like your daddy. So anytime there was a play, I was always in the play. And anytime there was singing groups, I was always in that. And you know, my twin sister and I, we did a lot of singing together. Harmonized. We sang a lot for all different kinds of programs. And in high school, we did a lot of singing too, and all kinds of plays. And when I graduated from high school, I got a nice medal for being one of the best actresses in school. Now, you know, my name is Eileen, and my twin sister's name is Irene. And one time, the teachers separated us in class, put us in different rooms. So we decided we were going to play a trick on our teachers, which were the nuns. And so I went to her classroom, and she went to my classroom. And you know what? The teachers never knew the difference because we were dressed entirely alike. And when they found out, we laughed, and they even laughed with us because they thought it was quite a joke. And let's see, we were kind of little devils when we were at home on the farm. One time, we dug a great big hole, and we put a pail of water in it and put what they called a gunny sack, like a pillowcase over it, and covered it with dirt. And then we took our neighbor and said, "Jimmy Dean, let's go for a walk." So he took our hand when we went for a walk and made him walk right over that hole. And he fell in the water. He was so mad at us. So when we'd put hay up in the barn, we had like a pulley that would lift the hay bales up into the barn. Well, we would sit on that and pull each other up on that. And one day he put me on, he said, "Here, go on there and I'll pull you up." And he wouldn't let me down, and I cried and cried because I stayed up till after dinner and I couldn't get down because we were such little Dickenses. But we had a lot of fun growing up. Yeah, another thing I always remembered on the farm, your neighbors were always such good people. And because we had such a big farm, we had lots of corn and grain and wheat. All the farmers would get together and help one another with this, because my dad was the only one that had a grain, I forget what it was. It was to husk, to put grain into the barns. Well, anyway, there'd be about maybe 8 people together. 8 farmers and my mother would have to make a great big meal for them when they were done. And one time, after they came to our place, my dad went to somebody else's farm, and this lady served apple pie at dinner time because they were all done during the thrashing. Well, when they went to eat the apple pie, everybody tasted and kind of made a funny face, but they wouldn't finish eating it. And you know why? The lady put in a cup of salt instead of a cup of sugar. And when she found out, she felt so bad. But the men didn't care. They just thought it was so funny and laughed and laughed. Then one time, my great uncle from North Dakota came to visit us. And he went into Lodi, the little city, and he got an accident. He was trying to back out and wasn't used to Lodi, so he hit another car. So when he came home, he told my dad, and he said, "Come on, come into Lodi, and I'll show you exactly what I did." Well, would you believe he did the same thing again? And he got 2 tickets. We laughed and laughed. And then, let's see, in Lodi, we always went to church on Sundays. And years ago when we were little, when we went to church, we always had to wear a hat and real pretty dresses and gloves and dress up real nice. And it was always fun just going to Lodi because we never got to go to the city. But then when we went to school, we had to go to Prairie du Sac, which was 7 miles away. And we liked that too. We liked that little town. And one of the biggest things that we ever got when we were little, if we were very, very good after doing all the chores in the summertime, we got to go into the city, and for a treat, we got to have a big piece of chocolate cake with ice cream. Well, that was so much fun. When I went to high school, let's see, there was about maybe 80 kids in my class, and we all had a great time, but I was very interested in sports and basketball and baseball and theater, and I don't know, I had a lot of teachers, but 2 subjects I did not like was history and geography. And it seemed like I never studied, but somehow I passed, and I couldn't wait to get out of school and go to work and earn money. But my years in high school were lots of fun, and getting out of high school was lots of fun. And it was so much fun being in a big family. We played lots of tricks on each other, but we really got along. We didn't really fight much when we were little. The only thing I can remember real well was that we had to go down in the basement and play because we never had a playroom in the wintertime. So we'd hide behind the steps, and the stairs were open, So we'd grab each other's leg to try and make each other fall down the steps. But nobody got hurt. We had fun. Outside of that, we'd go do a lot of ice skating because we had a lot of ponds, and they got iced over real fast because it was so cold. And that was one of the main things we did in the winter was ice skate. We started skating from second grade on, and skating was a big thing even in school. We got to take our skates to school because we always had an hour lunchtime, so we'd quick hurry up and eat and then get out on the pond and skate. And it was a big thing in Wisconsin. We got to school on a school bus, and the bus would pick us up at 7:30, and school would start at 8:30 in the morning. We had chores before school. We had to feed the chickens in the morning and water the chickens. My brothers had to help with the milking of the cows. And then we'd come in the house. We'd get all washed up and cleaned up for school, eat our breakfast, and have to be out at the bus stop by 7:30. Then we got picked up at 4 o'clock and didn't get home till almost 5 o'clock in the afternoon because we lived quite a ways and there were a lot of kids on school. Because we had a big family, they always said, "Oh, here comes the Eckstein tribe." We were called Eckstein. I mean, that was our last name, Eckstein. And my one sister, Dolores, she would always stick up for us and always say, "Will you leave my brothers and sisters alone? Because I'm very proud of every one of them." And then when we'd get home from school, we'd have to change. We only had 2 outfits to wear to school. One we had to wear 2 days and one we had to wear 3 days. Boy, when we got home from school, our clothes had to be hung up and we had to wear jeans and shirts. And so when I got grown up and had my children, I would never wear jeans because I hated them. The girls would always tell me, "Wear jeans, Mom. Everybody's wearing jeans." And I used to say, "No, I hate jeans. I hate them." So I'd always wear black slacks. They used to think I looked like an old lady with black slacks.
Well, they didn't call them jeans back then, did they?
We called them overalls. We had 6 girls and we had 2 boys. My oldest sister, Mary Ellen, she has 9 children. Then my brother, Jackie, was next, and he had 3 adopted children. He had 2 boys and a girl. And then they finally had a little boy of their own. And his name was Jack Eckstein. And then my sister Dolores, who always was the strong one in the family, she's the one that said, "I'm proud of every one of my brothers and sisters." Well, she got married and had 3 girls. That was Dolores. Then came 11 months later, Auntie Irene, who is my twin sister, and myself. And then 2 years later came Lois Eckstein, and then came my brother Jimmy, and he had 2 boys and 2 girls. And then my sister Jeanette, who's a baby, and she had 2 boys and a girl. Our home was pretty big, but we only had 3 bedrooms upstairs. So we had 2 great big beds in one room. My twin sister and I slept in it, and my sister Lois and Jeanette slept in the other bed. And then my sister Mary Ellen and Dolores in one bedroom and my 2 brothers in the other. But when my sister Jeanette was a baby and she was in the crib, I woke her up one night and said, "Oh, Jeanette, you got a pinch bug in your bed." And she cried and cried and cried. And my mother and dad came upstairs and I got such a spanking. I never said that again. And then one time, this is funny. One time, my sister Lois must have went to bed a little early. Well, when we went to bed, I guess I woke up around midnight. And I said, Lois, hurry up. You're going to be late for school. You got to get dressed. So she got up and got all dressed up for school and came downstairs. And my mother said, what are you doing? And she said, well, the twins said I had to get ready for school. It's time for the school bus to come. And here it was only 12 o'clock at night. Well, that was another spanking I got. So after about 4 or 5 spankings, I didn't get any more because I knew better. Growing up on the farm, every vegetable that could be grown, we grew. And one of my favorite vegetables was asparagus. And then because we lived on the farm, we had all our own meat. And oh, how I love steak or hamburgers and chicken, because we had so many chickens. My mother could really cook chicken well. And bread. She would bake 6 loaves of bread every other day. We never really had chickens as pets because when we had to go in and get the eggs, and the chickens would be in their little pens, I'd have to take a corn cob and hit them on the face so I get my hand underneath and get the eggs because they always picked at you, and I hated that. But as far as having a pet as a chicken, no, we never had pets. But we did have a pet little tiny pig because he was born crippled. So we called him Pinky. And he was such a wonderful pet. He was as nice as a dog. And then we had, oh, here's a good one that happened to me. Our cows would have calves, and we'd have to take them out of the barn in the morning to go into the fields. And I had one cow that had a calf, and I said to the cow, ha, 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 this is my calf, and you can't touch it. And I started petting it. And the cow got so mad at me that she went and bunted me. I don't know if you know what bunting means. Pushed me with her head all the way down the laneway, and I peed my pants. And we had a hired man, and he had a pitchfork, and he was able to get the cow away from me. And I never had a pet anymore.
Like
our
300?
farm was 300 acres, but our town, in order for it to be called a city, had to have 1,000 people in it. So Lodi and Prairie du Sac and Sauk City were called cities because they had like 1,000 families. We always had fairs, and because we had a big farm and did a lot of vegetables, canned vegetables, we were always able to take our vegetables to the county fair, and you could get ribbons. They'd test and see how good your food was, and we'd always come back with blue ribbons, and the boys would take a pig or a steer to the county fair, and they'd see how fat they were and how well groomed they were, and they would get ribbons, and we just had so much fun with that. We looked forward to that every year. We never really had a lot of toys, so we used to make our own fun on the farm when we were little. And my dad would let us play with old tires, and we'd get inside the tire and we'd roll down the road. But one time we decided we were going to hide behind the tire, and when a car came by, we pushed the tire down the road in back of the car, and we'd all holler, "Hey, you lost your tire!" And they'd stop to look if their tire was on or off. And here it was us. We did it to them. And they'd get a kick out of it because we were little. I couldn't wait till I got married and had children. I really, really loved it. And I didn't have to go to work anymore. I have 6 children. Karen's first, then Stephen, then Richard, then Curtis, then Nancy, and Diana. I always made sure that I, made nice meals for the children, and we did a lot of things. Daddy and his brothers and sisters were real involved in sports, and I always tried to make sure that they ate good meals. But your daddy was a conniver, and I always said you can't have your dessert.
This was me, Stephen.
Unless you eat your whole dinner. You've got to eat your peas and carrots. You've got to eat your vegetables. Stephen, you must eat vegetables. So I'd turn around and I was ready to get the dessert. And he said, I'm finished, I'm done. And I said, that's great. Now you can have your dessert. So I go to pick up his plate, and he would hide all his vegetables all around his plate on the outside so I couldn't see him. He'd pull little tricks like that on me. He was a conniver.
I didn't like my vegetables.
He did not like his vegetables. But let's see, now little things they did. Karen was very good in music and plays. And then comes Stephen, same thing. Your daddy was very good. I guess they took after your mother.
Oh, yeah.
Except your daddy was very good with guitar, and so is your grandpa. My husband, he played guitar a lot and sang. And let's see, Richard was good in sports, very good in baseball. Curtis was good in baseball, too. And Nancy was very good as a cheerleader. And Diana, let's see, she loved jumping rope. And years ago they had jump roping contests. And I don't think there was anything that she couldn't do. But the kids all had fun. They really did.
I used to remember sitting in the kitchen and licking out the dessert bowls that you had mixed up the recipes in, and we used to fight for who's going to get the little beaters when they were done.
Yeah, you kids all wanted to lick out the bowl. But I had 2 beaters and 6 kids, so I don't know how we divided that one. I guess they took their fingers and licked out the bowl.
Yeah.
But they had a lot of fun. And then we'd have a pool in Florida, and they loved swimming, and they just had a great time.
Yeah, swam in the pool. We swam in the lake across the street. And I used to remember how we always had plenty of decorations in the house because of, thanks to Publix.
Mm-hmm.
and the stuff that you had brought home from either the year before. And so our house was always decorated up with
we
decorations.
loved to decorate for every holiday. And I don't believe there was any holiday that Grandma Missall, Dad's mother, was with us, because Grandpa died when Stephen was a little baby, so they never got to know him, and so did my father. But both my mother and Dad's mother, they used to spend a lot of time with us. Not my mother so much, because she lived in Wisconsin. But
Grandma Missall.
Grandma Missall did, and we always had big get-togethers, always on the holidays, with my twin sister and her family, because they had 5, and I had 6. And can you imagine 11 kids running around your house every weekend? But we sure had fun. A lot of fun with the neighbors, and because our yard was big, and we were on the corner, and everybody loved my kids. They just thought we had the greatest family.
Yeah, we were one of the houses that in the neighborhood that all the kids in the neighborhood flocked to and hung out and spent a lot of time outside in the front of the house playing football and bikes and skateboards and all kinds of stuff.
So, those were the good old days.
Yeah.
But I still am going to have a lot of good days ahead of me now.
That's right. How's your bike doing?
I just bought a bike, and I decided I'm going to start going on the bicycle again. But it happened to be a real sunny day in Florida, and my sunglasses weren't very dark, so the sun was shining in my eyes, and I was afraid I was going to run into somebody on the sidewalk. So I went to the grass, fell over on the grass twice,
Ow.
and hurt my rib. So now I haven't gone on the bicycle since. But when I get back to Florida, I'll go.
Good, but you're doing some walking and some exercising,
Oh,
right?
we do walking just about every morning, and we go to the pool. We belong to the International Singers and sing twice a week. We play bingo on Monday night, go to church on Sunday, and...
Sounds like there's always something happening, and you guys are always doing
there's
something.
always something. There's plays, there's theater, there's all kinds of things going on at Century Village. And we have our card club. We meet once a week at everybody's condos. We take turns on Wednesday night and eat lots of dessert and get fat. But we love it. And then your Aunt Nancy and Uncle Rich lived in Florida by me, so we get together every Sunday and do something. And then Auntie Irene and I and Uncle Don, we go different places, and her children, and I have a good time.
That's good. Well, I guess we can just finish off by saying hello. Why don't you say hello to all the kids, your immediate kids, and hi to the grandkids, so we can maybe make a copy of this and send this to them. And I wish you guys were all here, but I just wanted to take this opportunity to capture Mom here in my project studio so that we have something to pass on to our kids, and we'll have to get you guys on there too one day. But just wanted to capture a bit of Mom and some of her stories, and get everybody to learn a little bit about her firsthand instead of us telling our kids, because I know they would want to hear that. Mom, why don't you finish off by saying saying your hellos and your goodbyes to everybody and greetings to them, and
Oh, okay, look, as long as Stephen's gonna send this to everybody, well, Karen and John and Katie and Zach, I want to say hello to you, and I hope one day to get up in Kentucky soon. And of course, Stephen is right here, but I'll still say hello to all the family and hope we can have more good times together. And I sure hope you can come to my condo. I have plenty of room to sleep now.
There you go. We'll send you the kids for 6 months.
What?
We'll send you our kids for 6 months.
I'm okay. I get to watch the kids for 6 months. And let's see, Richard, well, maybe you can come up soon again to see me, or maybe I can get down there and this time catch some fish, I hope. And let's see, Curtis and Stephanie and Jake and Shannon and Luke and Jude. Well, maybe I can get down to see you again, and I'm still waiting for you to... I can get up there to see you, and you can get down to see me. Wouldn't that be fun? And, of course, Nancy, we get to see each other all the time. And Diana, maybe we'll all get together in November. And who knows, maybe we can drive to see Stephen and Krista. Richard, I'm going to get down there and go fishing again.
Oh, yeah. All right, well, what else are we going to do today?
Today we're going to go to the mall, and we're going to get some teriyaki chicken.
Yeah.
Because the girls love teriyaki chicken. And then who knows what else we're going to do. But then I leave tomorrow at 10 a.m. And we're going to go to Biloxi with Uncle Don and Auntie Irene. And maybe we can win a little green stuff. Wouldn't that be fun?
That'd be great. Like mold?
Yeah, not like mold. Like paper.
Oh, paper mold. Well, I guess that's about it. It's Friday, October 6th, 2006. and just capturing Eileen Teresa Missall on tape here so that you guys can just put it on and have free babysitter for at least a half an hour with your kids. That's what we're going to do. I know the kids would enjoy hearing the stories. So, yeah, hope you guys enjoy this and be blessed. And I love you, Mom.
Love y'all too.
Yeah, it was good hanging out.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, love you all. See ya.
Love y'all.